Holy shit, where are the cashews? There are no goddamn cashews in here. Nuts are one of the best snacks ever. They're super healthy. They're delicious by themselves. They're great on other things. Buttery spreads, pies, candy, salads. Some people don't like them on salads. I think they're great. They spice things up. And I'm here to tell you which ones are the best and which ones are not the best. Now, I know what you're thinking. Anthony Fantano did a nut tier list a year ago. Why should we listen to you? Because I have better opinions than Anthony Fantano on virtually every topic, okay? If you know me, you know my food tastes, you know my music tastes, okay? I'm offended that you would even compare me to such a person, okay? We don't talk about him in this household, okay? We just don't do it. Let's make that number one rule absolutely clear. I've got with me Walnuts, Pistachios. Yes, they're Publix brand. Don't come at me for using Publix brand pistachios, okay? They're just nuts. Normally, I would agree brand consistency is important, especially when it comes to food reviews, but they're just nuts. I promise you it won't affect the review. I've also got all of the nuts that come with the Planters Mixed Nut Medley. That includes peanuts, almonds, cashews, Brazil nuts, and pecans. Yes, pecans, that is how you pronounce it. With 6 grams of plant-based protein. And it wouldn't be a complete food tier list without a proper palate cleanser. That's why I've got my trusty old Miller High Life. Cheers. Now, I also know what you're thinking. Where's the hazelnuts? Where's the macadamia nuts? Well, Publix didn't have those, okay? So if you're gonna make bomb threats, don't send them to me, send them to Publix in a video game. Now, I've never actually had a macadamia nut that wasn't in a cookie, so I can't properly rate it here, but I can already tell you that hazelnuts are gonna be B tier. They are one of the more bitter nuts, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think that they just don't have a whole lot going for them in the flavor category. Texture-wise, I think they're pretty good, and the bit of taste that they do have is that kind of earthiness, which I really do appreciate. So for those reasons, I'm gonna give it B tier. It's just a nice middle-of-the-road nut. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and take the nuts that I have here and run through all of them, taste them all real quick, make sure that they're all on the same page. All right, let's get nut cracking. All right, let's start rating some nuts. So I guess we'll work backwards. I'll start with walnuts. I'm a big fan of walnuts for their texture. They're very chewable. They're very breakable, which I appreciate because they don't get stuck in your teeth that hard. Now, they don't have a whole lot going in the taste department for them. They're not like hazelnuts in that they're bitter. They do have a little bit of sweetness to them. It's just very subtle, and it's kind of hard to notice until you've been chewing them for a bit. So good texture, very chewable. The taste is pretty subtle, but the little taste that is there is pretty sweet. So I'm also going to give this one B tier. Pistachios. Yeah, man. These are something else, okay? These are simply delicious. They're super sweet. They've also got that kind of hint of earthiness like hazelnuts, but it's also got some butteriness to it, which I think is an excellent combination. I really can't give this anything less than... This has to be S tier. Pistachios are simply immaculate. Pecans. So I basically see pecans as pretty much the same as walnuts. They pretty much, like, they're shaped the same. They have the same texture and that same, like, breakable chewiness that I mentioned earlier. But taste-wise, they edge out walnuts just by a bit. Pecans have more of a butteriness to them, like that you kind of have in the pistachios. They're not sweet like pistachios. They're a bit more mild in their taste, but I do find them more enjoyable than walnuts, and for that I'm gonna give pecans A tier. Also, I love a good pecan pie. Pecan pie. Okay, but pie, like, pecan sounds more natural when you're talking about pies, but just by itself, I think it's pecan, so I'm kind of torn. All right, next we got regular old peanuts. And I know what you're thinking. Peanuts aren't actually a nut, they're a legume. Stop, shut your mouth, okay? You sound like an idiot, okay? If it looks like a nut and tastes like a nut, you are a nut for saying that it's not a nut. All right, this might be the first hot take of the tier list. Peanuts are just not that good, all right? I know they're the famous, hallmark nut, but they're just really bland. I don't get it because I love peanut butter so much, but the nuts themselves, they just don't have anything going for them, honestly. I honestly can't even tell what they really taste like. They're not sweet like pistachios. They're not buttery like pecans. They don't have the earthiness like the hazelnuts. They just don't really have anything going for it at all. Also, peanuts are one of the worst when it comes to getting stuck in your teeth. They're a huge pain when you eat peanuts. And for all these reasons, I'm going to give it C tier. Cashews. Yeah. That is simply just perfect. Cashews are probably the best nut on this entire list here. I'll be honest. It's a media S tier. They're nice and soft. They're easy to chew. They're probably not as sweet as pistachios, but they have a very rich, creamy taste to them that I don't think you can find in any other nut. They're simply, it's like this is like nature's candy to me. Cashews they're simply the best. Brazil nuts. These are these giant ass nuts.
Two plus two is 4, right? And 5 plus 5 is 10. What the fuck is this?
That was fucking rancid, okay? Brazil nuts, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking putting them in these mixed nut boxes. That is ridiculous, okay? If you've never had one before, they're basically just giant peanuts, but even less tasteful. I was trying to figure out what peanuts tasted like. These don't taste like anything. It's just like I'm eating like rock fiber, okay? This is horrible. Automatic D tier. God, that was bad. Planters, you should really consider taking out the Brazil nuts and replacing them with either pistachios or hazelnuts, because that is just pathetic. And finally, we have almonds. This might be another hot take, because I know a lot of people think that almonds don't taste like anything, but I really like almonds. I think they're sweet. I think there is a lot of taste there, and I think it's sweet. There's something about the skin on the almonds that really adds to the flavor to me. I can't exactly pinpoint it, but yeah, I think they're good. They are subtle in their taste, in that little bit of sweetness with the almonds, but I'm a huge fan. I gotta give this one A tier. I really like them. Well, that is the nut tier list. I'm pretty happy with these results. Pistachios, cashews, pecans, and almonds. Rounding up the top here. Some really strong nuts. Hazelnuts, walnuts, peanuts. Not bad. And when it comes to nuts, honestly, all of these from C and above, I'm a huge fan of. I'm happy to eat all of these. I'm so glad that we have such a diverse set of nuts to work with here, because each of them really has something incredible to offer. Except Brazil nuts, they're garbage. This is God's way of saying fuck Brazil, okay? These are just an abomination. So if you disagree with me, which I'm sure a lot of you will, feel free to roast me in the comments, and I will roast you right back. So drop a comment and smash that like button. We need 10 likes, please. 10 likes.
It's not personal.
I'm gonna kill myself!
Wow.
I'm going to kill myself, and it's your fault!